Welcome back to the C Morning Show. Every generation from millennials to Gen Z to Gen Alpha has its own unique traits and also habits. Now, let's see how their communication styles and daily routines differ.
English Gen Alpha way.
Part 2. Mun, how to say kayak dia tuh kayak loser gitu.
Ohio.
Skibidi Ohio.
Yeah.
How you say a person itu kayak bad vibes, terus kayak dia itu kayak not cool gitu.
Negative aura.
Kalau weak kayak lemah gitu.
Beta.
Oh, beta. How about telling lies, bohong?
Cat.
Kalau kesayangan?
Puki.
Mami kayak pernah denger deh, another one, pantat apa?
Yak.
Mun, kasih contoh bikin kalimat pakai kata-kata tadi.
She's a beta. She likes to cap. Such a Ohio, and I think that's like a negative aura to me.
How do you make a heart? Yes, okay. How do you answer the phone? Well done. How do you hang up the phone? Great. Next question. How do you take a photo? Okay, good. How do you roll down the car window? Yes, well done. The next one, how do you mix a cake? Okay. Last question, how do you wash the dishes?
There you go.
Okay.
Any of those relatable?
Very much relatable.
The telephone one for me. How do you make a phone call? You know what this is? Anyway, as you can see, generational differences impact more than just language and habits. In fact, they can also shape your parenting styles. For instance, millennials and Gen Alpha kids experience different challenges and opportunities due to the technology that they have grown up with. Now, today, this morning, we'll discuss how millennials can foster stronger, more positive relationships with their Gen Alpha children with child and family psychologist Saskhya Aulia Prima. Good morning, Saskhya. Thank you for being here today.
Good morning.
Welcome to the show.
Hi. All right. Now, let's jump into our first question. How does growing up, as we've seen in the videos earlier, how does growing up with advanced technology impact Gen Alpha? Firstly, I want to talk about that.
I see. It's like Mas Paul said before, it offers like so many challenges, but also opportunities. So they're more likely to be more creative and also innovative. But the downside, probably they need to learn the process itself, patience and stuff. Once I read in the book of Jonathan Haidt, he said that we have this shifting from play-based activities to screen-based activities. That's actually one of that we have to be more aware to the development of our kids, because they lose or decrease the amounts of free playing to the instruction-based play, and also they don't have like more risk playing like we used to have before.
I actually spoke with a child psychologist about this, and because I said, well, a child can learn about, let's say, a cat. Via a screen, right? How a cat moves, the noise that it makes. They said, yeah, but on a screen, the cat is still this big and it still feels flat. Whereas in free play, they actually see that, oh, the cat is actually this big and they can feel that it's furry. So there are positive and negatives. What are some of the other negative traits that a child learning through technology can experience?
Because I think it has this effect that they could lose one of the most functional human being skills. It's social interaction in the real world. Because social interactions actually offers you so many skills to improve. Like how you navigate social life with digital life, it's very different. How you can see, how you can become more empathy, you know the gesture, you can read that and you can communicate and you can lead the group in real world. It's very different with the digital world. So I think that's the most important part that we have to be aware more.
But there's also positives, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like kids, I mean, at their ages now, at such a young age, can know so much more than we did at our age, right?
Yeah, my son even remembers the day when the Titanic sunk. I don't remember about
He likes
that.
to Google a lot.
Yeah, he likes,
Yeah,
he likes
exposed
to
more
watch
to
about that.
multicultural stuffs also.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's true.
Now, you mentioned before one of the most important trait to have is actually social interaction. Now, some research suggests that Gen Alpha often experience loneliness and anxiety due to this technology. Now, how can parents help to create meaningful social interactions for these children?
Yes, because actually our brain crave more, and they have like this natural crave for social interaction. They need it. They need attachment. They need bonding. They need emotional closeness. That's why, for the parents' part, I think we should always like communicate better with them. We should ask about. I think millennials and Gen Z parents also put more emphasis on mental health. They
Yeah.
always ask about how do you feel today compared to our previous parents' generation, right? But I want to like emphasize more on why they become anxious. It's because back to what I said before, the free play is decreasing. That's why their mental health is actually decreasing also. Because when you do the free play, you can manage your anxiety. You can have like more risk activities. If you remember, when we were young, we can play like slides or bumping on the ground. But now all the playgrounds are, most of them are very safe.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, so it's very anxious for them because everything is very predictable. Because we put more overprotection in the real world, but under protection online. I think that's also
right.
the part where they get more anxious than
point.
before.
Yeah, so basically, to put it simply, a child, if they experience falling down, they're actually learning a lesson by falling down. right?
Learning resiliency, right? They
Yes.
manage they can manage their stress, they can handle their stress. But now, if you're doing that online, everything you can like just restart it.
Does it
Yeah,
have
it's
to
like
do
playing a
with,
game.
Does it have to do with adrenaline rush or the risk of getting hurt?
Yeah, it's also like that. But I think in life we almost always have to face the challenge that we have to
Yeah.
manage the risk also. And where do we learn that? It's from the free play. It's from the interaction, the direct interaction in the real world, not only in digital world. So it's good for the tools, for the support, but we need to give more like real world experiences.
Yeah, like unpredictability.
Yeah,
is actually helps them.
unpredictability.
If your child is on a high surface, how would they know the fear of falling and how dangerous it is
Yeah.
unless they're actually up there as opposed to
Yeah.
just seeing how high it is on the screen, right? So I would like to ask you about, first of all, what is emotional intelligence and how can we help develop emotional intelligence with the new
Emotional
generation?
intelligence is basically how you are aware of your emotion and other emotion.
Okay.
So you know what you need to calm down. So you know how to read everyone's emotion. You can become more empathized with everything that they feel. You can feel that they feel. That's the thing that we can only learn while we doing the real world activities and interaction. Because we can see the gestures. We can
Reaction.
read your expression.
Yeah.
We can be more natural. It's because our brain is always natural. It's different with the technological advancement.
Yeah.
That's why we need that, and we need to like train them from the very little age because they're born during this technological advancement era, right?
Yeah.
And let's not forget about COVID because my second is a COVID baby and no social interactions. And I found it quite challenging, even though he's much progressed a lot more now. But there was this, it was difficult for me because I realized that, he hasn't had social interaction, so he doesn't know how to read, how to gauge how somebody will react or how close to stand to somebody. He'll just go up to somebody to their face, go, hi.
They communicate more with emoticon, not with emotions,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, true, good point.
All right. Now you mentioned a lot. You emphasize a lot on the free play and social interaction. Now we all agree that free play is actually very good for our kids. But how do we manage to let them live in their world with this technological advancement, but also in the real world? How can we make sure that they're balanced?
Yeah, balance between online and unplugged,
Yes.
right? That's what we are trying to do like every day. So here's the case is because they live in a world that's full of opportunities. They can have like more information than us. They know like they can expose to the like crisis or something outside their country. But one of that we have to handle is how they really know their real world or nearby challenges from their area, like
In their own environment.
or environment. You can expose them since very little, since primary with like volunteer activities or internships. It's like small internships, like doing like social media for a library or like helping crafting art and crafting for the teachers or something like that. You're doing more projects, real life projects, other than digital projects.
So you integrate the
Yeah, we use the technology also for learning. So when you like watch videos or online learning, you also like can have discussion with them, not only passive online learning, also help them to thrive in this digital era.
So we're using it more as a tool as well and integrating
As a
it.
tool, not as like the main caretaker. I would
Right.
say. Yeah.
Okay, so I know it's still very early days if you think about how far and how quickly technology has advanced. In your opinion, how can this, if a young person or Gen Alpha spends too much time online, how do you think it can affect their interpersonal relationships in the future down the road for them as they get older?
Yeah, interpersonal relationship needs a lot of emotional skill and intelligence training, right? So you know how to communicate with others, you know how to lead or influence others or persuade others. And we're in the world that we live now, it's very fast paced. It's like change so fast. In the future, if they don't train their skills, because everything in our development, it is trained, not like short form video that you can learn anything in 5 seconds. It's a process.
Yes.
So if you don't like repeat and doing this like repeatedly, it also affecting your social in the future. Like you might look like you cannot communicate well directly, but you can communicate by text. Yeah, but when you want to influence others, when you do like networking and you like doing things to the people, you need like a direct interaction. So you need to understand more. That's a skill.
Right.
I mean, yeah, that's a skill. Not only like everyone can actually naturally become communicative. Not everyone can be like that. So it is a skill that you have to develop and train every day for that.
So there's a risk that people can behave more introvertly in the future,
or
right?
more awkward.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I have a son. My son is 5.5-year-old. Now, the thing is about him, I struggle a lot to make him focus on something.
Yeah.
That's because he watches a lot YouTube and everything, and he does things online. Now, how can we make sure that their focus is not, he's easily distracted?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the challenge. How can you, shift his focus back to me? Because it's kind of hard, for him to like stay still and listen to me talking for like 10 hours.
He's used
10
to
minutes.
everything being so fast-paced
Yeah.
anyway, right?
Yeah, I think it's also the problem for me too. Nowadays, we're getting more easily to get distracted, right?
Yeah.
Because so many like short form videos, you can like double speed things.
Yes.
So it's become a culture for them, and focus is not only about the concentration, but it's the way they can manage their stress management. Because of why when they like coloring in a real paper, real coloring book, it takes a lot more effort than you just like put it and then it filled with
It
color.
fills it
right?
by itself.
So
Yeah,
you need to use your strength, you need to use your patience. So, but the challenge is all in the digital world is very entertaining. It's very interactive.
Yes.
So that's why we have to find other activities or projects that is very entertaining also, with a lot of movement, a lot of talking to everyone, a lot of things that can engage them as much fun as the online one. That's why we need like whenever the holiday come in, as you know, like we need to find holiday camps, we need to find activities that's actually very engaging.
I talked to her a lot about that, about all the activities, kids' activities, because our son is the same age,
pretty much
right?
the same age.
Okay. So obviously we cannot avoid technology.
Yes,
it is
we
all around
cannot.
us, and in fact I find it to be a very useful tool, a teaching aid as well. So what is the, and I don't know if there's a proper answer for this, what would be the right balance for us as parents to help our kids along and be able to use these things in order to bridge the gap between us, as opposed to it being a separator? Because a lot of times parents will just say, I need to do some work, here's the screen, and that I find that creates this kind of border between us. But instead, how can we use this as more of a bridge to kind of like join us? You mentioned some of them could be using a gadget in order to do an activity together. What are some of the ways that we can use these things to help bond and forge our relationships a little bit better?
I think it's the mindset that we have to set. All the things in children development, we cannot develop a child only with one tools.
Okay.
One tool. So it's one of the tools that we can use is gadget. And everything else we also need to inject to them. But through gadget, when you passive viewing or something, they just watch or they just read it, but you have no interactions. But you can do like you watch together or you watch separately, but after that have a discussion time. What did you watch before? What insights that you took from the show? Or probably what do you need to know more, and you can browse together. Because sometimes I think my son has more knowledge than me.
Yeah.
So
Mine
that's
too.
why just please ask me and I can ask you, and why don't we just browse together and
right.
discuss this thing. I think that's one of the things to balance that. And also I think it's very important for parents to know their strong values, so we can like filter all the shows or games that is suitable more for our kids.
Very
right?
true.
That's to prove that we're not really overprotective offline, but also we like put the same enough amount of protection in online and offline world.
Yeah, I have one tip that I've been doing with my daughter. So she likes crafts, but she also loves like watching
Yeah,
these
the
little
DIY
short form
or
videos.
something, yeah.
So we watch these DIY videos and we find one that she likes, and then we look through Pinterest or Google to find some of the materials for it. We print it out on my printer, and then we actually do it physically together. The activity.
It's a really fun day.
So you just kind of you combine the two, so that way she still gets to see the gadget, but not just watching, but actually putting it to practice. And I think there's tons of stuff you can do out there like that.
And science
that's
experiment also.
Yeah, that's also good.
All right. Thank you so much,
Thank you so much, Saskia, for
Thank
being
you.
here. Been very insightful
Yeah.
indeed, and we hope that it's given you some inspiration and ideas to help you connect with your children, even with these little gadgets. Anyway, we're going to take a short break here on C Morning Show. We'll have another talk show for parents with some older kids later on in the program. In the meantime, though, after this short break, we'll bring you some world headlines. Stay tuned.